Hi, this is going to be an energy painting. If it finds you in the right place at the right time and helps you connect the dots, then that's great. And if it doesn't, then it might be from somebody else. Thank you for holding space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate that highly. I will try not to cut this video because the point of being here is to be present and to breathe as we're creating this painting together. This painting has a lot of random ingredients. When I was tuning into it before I came here, ingredients came from all over the space. So keyword for this painting is red sky and what was it? Damn it, I forgot. One was red sky and the other one was, oh yeah, pile of cards. Yeah, so those were the keywords for this painting. I have no idea how this is going to match the painting. You let me know how that actually translates and what does it mean. But when I was tuning into the energy, so keywords came out. And the second ingredient was a spark that I felt in my heart. It was a spark of life, like a spark to be alive again. Not to be alive again. Maybe that's also something that you feel. But that spark of life that you have after a long time, after like you didn't really have it and then you have it and you notice that you have it as opposed to not having it before. And that spark of life, like I wouldn't necessarily automatically put it into a category of relationships or work or creation or like something creative that is going on. No, it's more so, I would describe it as the meaning of the channel, tetraviorium. It's like not just being in the right place at the right time, but also being in this moment of almost perfect alignment, you with yourself. And how do you know that you're in a perfect alignment? Is that you as, it's like, first of all, like your being is light, you move lighter, you have that sense of elevated presence. It's easy to be, it's easy to move. You don't stick to problems, you don't stick to heaviness of any kind, you're just kind of moving through the air, you're moving through the being. And then you notice that what you think on the inside is automatically translating on the outside. You think something, somebody else says it. You think about something, you see it on the outside. You make a little shift inside, it automatically shifts on the outside. And you're constantly in this dance that is observable to you. It's almost as if, like if you have a synesthesia or anything like that, it's almost as if you can visually, you can geometrically draw lines between yourself and the outside reality. And if you would keep doing it, like you would come with some sort of mathematical picture of a sacred geometry of some sort. It's almost like that I would call the spark of life, like being in this type of constellation of yourself where you are really dancing with the reality. It feels good to be here. And that spark of life, I see it being channeled into a particular direction or a category. So from that state, I can put it into a category of a relationship or a workplace or creating something in your mind. It doesn't even have to be something so specific. It can just be something that you have in your mind, and as you're thinking about it and as you're fueling your thoughts with an emotional energy and as you're preoccupying yourself with dreaming about it, it immediately translates into external reality, actually kind of co-creating the experience with you. And that can be in literally anything. That can be this painting, that can be your painting, that can be your relationship, that can be an activity in your relationship, that can be the job, that can be a specific conversations that you have in your job. You realize like it can be just literally anything. But whatever it is, like you found that channel where as you feel it, so it kind of responds, and it's very powerful. It's like super powerful. It's overpoweringly powerful. And it takes a lot of space. It consumes you. You are consumed by it, and not just that you're consumed by it, like you're consuming it and it consumes you. It's kind of hard to say like where do you begin and where do you end and where it begins and it ends. You know what I mean? It's that type of an energy that is a little bit all over the place, outside of the frame. Feels good. It feels good to be. It feels good to be identified with it. That's how it feels. It feels good to be identified with it. And it seems so overpowering. It seems so powerful that it's undeniable. You can't really be like, yeah, whatever. No, it's there. It's there. It's in your awareness. You consciously work with it. You talk about it. And here I'm saying two things. First of all, visually, I see power lines. Again, I did not prepare my paints for painting. Man, never learned. I see power lines. And I'm also seeing a mislabeling or misunderstanding, or how do I put it? It's not even but underestimating, exactly, underestimating of the strength of that energy, of that channeled energy, of something being super powerful, like a high voltage. So when something is in your reality, in your experience, something is representing itself as super powerful. It's so powerful that, you know, it can't just disappear like this. That's the underestimating part. So let's say you have a connection of some sort, and it feels so powerful, it feels so overpowering, you can't stop thinking about it. And then it's easy to conclude that because it's so powerful, because you feel it so intensely, because it takes so much of your memory, because it takes so much of your time and space and planning and fueling it with your own energy, it's easy to think that it can sustain itself by itself because it's so powerful. But then here I'm seeing these power lines collapsing, because exactly this thing, this thought that the energy is powerful by itself and that it can contain itself is what can make it slip away, fade out, fade away, gets disrupted, or even explode and create a chaos. That's what I'm saying. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was unplanned. But this is what I'm saying. One pillar, and then another pillar, and then the third pillar, and then in between them, I want to do this red. There is this line that kind of how do you say that? How do you speak this electric language? A power line. A line is conducting, right? The energy, and it goes from one pillar, tower, to another one, right? And then to another one. And if you just assume that because the energy goes through this line from one to another to the third, and if it already has like 1, 2, 3, that automatically means that there must be 4. You kind of let it here and it falls down. unless you put the number 4 here, and then again and again and again and again. And that's what I'm saying, is like you have to, like, for the powerful energies, you also have to have powerful infrastructure, and you need to keep building it. And I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who is in this part of life where things are very much unplanned. The path in front of you unfolds as you walk it. There is no pre-established route of like, oh, this is how it goes, so you just kind of follow the rules. There might be rules that are imposing themselves onto you, but as you try and live them, you realize that they don't really sit well with you. It's like wearing somebody else's shoes. It's like, why am I even trying? And so you're in this area where you and you alone is responsible to how things unfold, and they unfold as you respond. And then as you respond, things unfold, and there's like a direct relationship with, like, if you take a step forward, there will be a space where you can step forward. And if you keep standing, you're not going to see further than that one step in front. And there's also something about the looseness of the power lines and how there must be enough space in between the two towers or two pillars for the energy to naturally has its ebb and flow, to go up and down. The power lines that I'm seeing in my mind's eye are not tight. They're not tight. They go up and down and up and down, and if you try to make them tight, they might break, because the energy really needs its flow. Yeah. Now I'm feeling like I'm going back in time, because when I'm seeing all this like black that just spilled here in one, it just kind of tells me exactly what I said. It's like, it seems like if you have like one pillar that is super thick and very grounded and very stable, it seems like, oh yeah, that's made for this powerful energy. So like, I guess if the first one is so powerful, then everybody else, then any other is going to be so powerful. But it doesn't need to be unless you make it. You see? Unless you make it, but you have to make it. You can't just let it make itself, because it's not gonna. And I see this as like dangerous slope to assume that such powerful energies are able to sustain themselves, and you can tell yourself something like, oh, this is so intense or so powerful or so important to me, there's no way that it will just, disappear overnight. And exactly this type of powerful energies are the easiest ones to disappear overnight and to fade away and to slip into, I don't know, something. Cable breaks and then it falls down, and then you have no power for a few days until somebody comes and repairs it. It's very easy to underestimate or overestimate the continuity and the presence of such powerful energy. And in order for it to continue, there must be stability and groundedness and consistency over time. Let's see. Another ingredient that I was seeing for this painting was a stone. A rock. And it came with the message of how stones and rocks remain unchanged over lifetimes of humans. Like, humans can spend multiple lifetimes being born, living, dying, and then being born, living, dying, being born, living, dying. It's like you can have a whole one bloodline playing itself out on the planet Earth at the duration of one rock. And so why is rock even showing itself in this painting is because there's some need for just being a rock. See what that means to you. What does it mean to you when I tell you to embody the quality of a rock? Does it mean to ground yourself or to ground somebody else? Does it mean to stay still, seemingly unchanging over time? Does it mean be silent? Be focused? I remember the scene from Everything Everywhere All at Once. There is a moment when mother and daughter are reincarnated as stones in one of the lifetimes. Like two rocks sitting next to one another, and they can't move, they can't do anything, but they still can communicate telepathically. So maybe it's about awareness of telepathy, which also calls for a little bit of, how do you say that? Discipline, hygiene, mental hygiene, exactly. Like paying attention to what is going on in your head, because you might not be the only one who is seeing, witnessing, listening, or feeling your thoughts. Another ingredient of this painting that showed itself was aletheia. And that's an archetype card from the archetype oracle deck from King Kranz, the round one. I would translate it into the question, what is the most true to you right now? And it's interesting that that showed up as one of the ingredients, because also another ingredient that I found for this painting that kind of came out of nowhere, and this is why I like to say for this painting that it's kind of random. There was a question. Actually, no, there were two questions that were given to somebody. And it's so out of context, and it's so, like, you know, like out of nowhere that it's hard for me to actually tune into this, but this was also one of the ingredients. So the question, not the question, it's like, how do I even start this sentence? Man, when you see that somebody's obviously lying to you, it's like obvious, it's super obvious. Ask them, are you lying to me because you're afraid that I'm not going to believe you if you tell the truth? Or are you lying to me because you don't think that the truth is going to perform well? That's what I heard. So ask them and see what happens. Because sometimes people lie because, not because they're evil, not because they're mean, not because they really want to trick you, not because they have some hidden agendas in their head. I thought they could. But they lie because they're afraid. Because they're scared of what you're going to think, what you're going to say if they actually tell the truth. Because, you know, some of us humans, we come from other humans who come from times when no one gives a shit about the truth. What people give a shit is that you tell exactly what they need to hear. So there is like a correct version of reality and there is incorrect version of reality, even if it's true. Twisted, totally. And there are people that are still carrying that fabric of being within themselves. Yeah, very much so. I feel lost. It's not lost, it's more like hopeless. It's this sense of hopelessness, of like, I don't know what to do. It's like if somebody's lying to you and you're like feeling kind of at the receiving end as if there's nothing you can do about it. And it's just like when you look deeply in like why do people lie, it almost gives you this sense of so much lifetime of theirs is being like put into that construction of themselves that does not allow them to really be authentically themselves and to speak truth even if it's inconvenient. And they would rather lie than avoid the discomfort. And it's not even their fault, it's just that's how they were created. That's the feeling that I'm getting from not being able to get the paint out of the paint. How do you even call this? A box. It's not a box. What is this? Tube. But box is another. And sometimes you just gotta leave people alone. Box is another ingredient that showed up for this painting. Box in terms of, we all have our boxes that we're living in, you know. Some people have really white boxes and they can run inside of them. And some people have like a very small, tiny boxes and they can only move so far. I saw somebody on social media somewhere, I don't know, was it TikTok or Instagram but somewhere, somebody explained that you can definitely read people according to how they're dancing. And if you see somebody who's dancing and they're not using their hands, it's because they're afraid of taking up space. And somebody once told me when they were seeing energies in people, they were seeing how some people have like, you know, this much space that they can move, and then some people have that much space, and that also goes not just physically but also mentally and emotionally and charismatically. Like how much do you radiate your aura? Like are you just standing here by yourself being in your own individual bubble, or can you send your energy also on the other side of the room, like all the way in the back to the last person that is sitting like all the way in the back of the school? Like can you, not this classroom, like can you really like extend your energy far and beyond to your immediate presence, or are you in a box? And all of us, we do have boxes. We have boxes of our own constructs of reality, and then we have also boxes of the cultures that we're living in, the countries that we're occupying, the generational imprints that we're carrying, the astrological constellations that we go through on a daily basis, monthly, weekly, yearly. I don't know, like we all have boxes. And I wish I can show you the painting that I actually have on my wall over there. It's called Contact with Reality. I painted it on multiple layers, and the middle of the painting has the most of the paint, and then as you go towards the outside and you go from one layer to another layer, you come to the point where the painting is like super thin because it only has one layer. And every time when you come in contact with one layer of your box that you're living in and you decide to destroy it or change it, stretch it, you come to the other one and to the other one and to the other one, and it's never ending. It's like kind of like an onion, but the onion is ending and your life eventually ends. But even if it doesn't, it still keeps going and it's never ending. Aletheia, the card from the 𝔟𝔢𝔦𝔫𝔤 archetype oracle deck, has that moment. Not a moment, yeah, it has a moment. It has a rose. It has a depiction of a rose that is on one side shown as white with a black background, and on the other side is in the negative, so it's black with white background. I would translate that in my own language as all that is also isn't. If you want to know more about it, I have it in a book called The Book of Meanings. It's in the description. But yeah, it's beautiful how it all connected. yeah, it all connected. The box, aletheia, truth, lies, stone, and the power lines. I could have prepared myself a little bit better with painting. I didn't paint for quite some time, so I didn't touch the paints, and yeah, I guess I wasn't meant to paint any more than just the power lines. To me, also, this painting looks like 4 of Wands. If that means anything to you, then so be it. But I'm gonna leave it as it is, and please let me know, what do you see when you look at the power lines and the stone that is depicted here? Do you see anything that I don't see? And is there anything that this painting has communicated to you, confirmed to you, or inspired you for? Please leave it in the comments. I would be extremely happy to see them. So that will be it for now. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Ouch.